Hi everybody, welcome to TNT, and we've had a bit of a wet morning here. There are parts of Thailand that are still experiencing heavy rain, so do check your weather reports if you're doing some travelling at the moment, and perhaps take an umbrella with you. Now today we're talking a little bit about politics. The new Prime Minister, Anantan Charnvirakul, he made his first speech in Thai Parliament yesterday, setting out a 15-point plan for his expected 4 months in Parliament, whereby after that he's had an agreement with the People's Party to get their support and their votes, that he'll then dissolve Parliament so that we'll have an election sometime, maybe March or April next year. But for the next 4 months, he and his coalition are running the government of Thailand. So I thought I'd have a look at the 15 points made by the Prime Minister yesterday. Given that the new Parliament's only got this 4-month window, you'd expect the parliamentarians to be on their very, very best behaviour because, well, they're sort of in pre-election mode, aren't they? We're going to have this election sometime next year, and Thais will be watching what happens over the next 4 months, so they're sort of in dress rehearsal mode. And I think we can be assured that over the next 4 months, the Thai Parliament will be on their very, very best behaviour. But let's see if anything is of interest to you. Is there anything about tourism? Is there anything about giving money out to expats? And maybe they're going to recreationalise cannabis. I don't know. Let's have a look. And we'll take it from this article in nationthailand.com. Thai Premier unveils 15-point urgent agenda to Parliament. And it says there in the middle at 9:35 a.m. yesterday, the Prime Minister, who also serves as the Minister of Interior, formally announced the government's policy, affirming that his administration's mandate is anchored in the democratic regime with the King as head of state. Now, this point about His Majesty as the head of state in Thailand was made several times during the speech. And some people might decode that as perhaps a bit of a slight of the people that really put Anantan there as the Prime Minister. That's the People's Party. And they've campaigned for, well, basically 3 elections on constitutional change and in some cases perhaps trying to codify in law the role of His Majesty the King. So I think there was a little bit of a slight with that comment. But let's move into some of the other comments made. And there were 3 overriding core principles: protection of the institutions, the nation, religion and the monarchy, adherence to the democratic regime with the King as head of state, upholding the rule of law, fair enforcement and administration based on good governance for the benefit of the populace. So let's go to some specific policies and economic priorities. Income and cost management. They're going to implement the Kon La Krung scheme and immediately lower daily costs such as energy, clean drinking water, fares and tolls to increase citizens' purchasing power. So pretty much shows that they're in some sort of election mode. They're going to be throwing money at the situation and subsidising things like electricity bills, tolls and various fares. No details exactly what they're going to be. And then managing agricultural prices, promoting digital technology for reskilling and upskilling, and boosting community income through the use of solar energy in households and agriculture. So it looks like we're going to see things like solar energy promotions and subsidies. Interesting question, would somebody like me be able to take advantage of those subsidies? I'm a taxpayer here. Would they allow those subsidies? Well, we'll soon find out. Let's move on. So talking about debt resolution and liquidity, public debt, they're going to assist in resolving individual debt up to 100,000 baht per person to release citizens from debt traps. So Thailand does have a relatively high private debt to GDP ratio, and this could be a good way to both help citizens and get that ratio down very quick, but it will come at a cost. And throwing money at small to medium enterprises with enhanced liquidity up to 1 million baht per business and improving access to capital. Giving all citizens the right to easily purchase government bonds and developing new lottery products. So sort of a voluntary taxation schemes, one a lot more risky than the other. And this one's pretty important: restoring tourism confidence, focusing on enhancing tourist safety, suppressing fraud, and launching stimulus measures to encourage domestic travel for the rest of this year, including promoting second-tier cities and improving facilities via tax incentives. Various governments in the past have been very good at promoting domestic tourism, so it might be a good way to just improve the tourism situation whilst the foreign tourism situation is a bit down at the moment. So moving on to addressing trade war impacts. The current trade war situation basically initiated by the United States in the way of new tariffs. And establishing Team Thailand to upgrade existing free trade agreements and proactively open new markets. The government will also push for Thailand's membership in the OECD. Interesting part of the next one, trade defence, the second sentence there. Crucially, the government will prohibit the import of agricultural products resulting from burning in neighbouring countries to mitigate PM2.5 dust. Now, either through good luck or some of the policies starting to take real practical effect, the government were able to reduce the worst of the PM2.5 situation during last year's burning season. So it looks like they want to double down on that and keep trying to improve the air quality up in places like Chiang Mai over those 4 months. So the next one's basically about better red tape, modernising regulations and licensing procedures to be transparent, adjusting investment promotion to target high-tech sectors, including digital AI, advanced electronics, modern automotive, clean energy and bio-industries. Well, that means knocking on the doors in South Korea, Japan, China, saying, hey, come and set up your factories in Thailand, we'll give you lots of tax incentives. Now addressing the elephant in the room, security and stability, Thai-Cambodian dispute, committing to resolving the border dispute with Cambodia through peaceful means to ensure security for the border populace and preserve Thailand's rightful sovereignty according to international boundaries. Well, just addressing that one, if you're interested, the Thai Foreign Minister made a speech to the UN late last week. About 25% of the speech was devoted to that particular issue. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in watching his full speech. Very well spoken man, very intelligent, and I thought showed Thailand to the world in a very good light. And the other one, the ongoing one, southern border provinces accelerating efforts to create a safe environment and improve the quality of life, coupled with sustainable economic development in the region. Well, the last 8 governments in Thailand have done very little to do anything practical to resolve the southern insurgency. I think that sentence proves that in the next 4 months, nothing much is going to happen there. So let's move to suppressing illegal gambling, and the government is committing to the serious suppression of all forms of illegal gambling. The government explicitly stated it will not support the legalisation of any gambling business or entertainment complexes featuring gambling. Well, not a lot of code there. No casinos. The next 2 are all about cracking down on corruption. Okay. Protecting religions, implementing measures to protect and eliminate the undermining of Buddhism and other religions, acting with the approval of the Supreme Patriarch for Buddhist matters. A not too veiled threat there to abbots and senior Buddhists around the country. There's been a lot of cases of senior Buddhists behaving badly over the last year, and I think they want to try and clean that image up. And moving to the environment and disaster management, disaster warning systems, accelerating the installation and development of disaster warning systems, especially in high-risk zones. Well, there's a few things there. Just in the last couple of days, I've had a few warning systems sent to my phone, both in Thai and English. Not necessarily applicable to this area, but it looks like they're going to slowly fine-tune this warning system. And it has, in my case, certainly worked well over the last week. And the other thing is the water management. Thailand swings from either too much water in the dams and then floods, or occasional drought. So if they can try and get somewhere in the middle, I think it would make things a lot easier for especially the agricultural community. The next one is a noble goal, and a lot of Western countries trying to seek this, announcing Thailand's commitment to achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Now, regionally, China's well on the way to achieving this, and I think Thailand sees it as good housekeeping to try and set that same policy goal. And then promoting solar energy, electric vehicles and public transport. So again, with solar energy, are we going to see some new solar subsidies? As far as EVs are concerned, they're just sort of becoming ubiquitous. Every time I drive, I just see more and more electric cars. There would be, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 different models now available. Everything from high speed and high power pickup trucks all the way down to tiny two-seat EVs. There's sort of something for everybody. Sustainable agriculture transitioning to environmentally friendly farming methods with a focus on preventing agricultural burning and establishing an internationally standardised carbon credit trading market and accelerating the implementation of key environmental laws such as the draft Climate Change Act. Well, a lot of people, I'm sure, are going to be saying that these are just fancy words, but I think, again, it's just good housekeeping for the Thai government to be heading in these directions. And moving on to public administration and legal reform, accelerating the development of an interconnected digital government, promoting the disclosure of public open data, and modernising public administration for efficiency and transparency. Now, getting all this data into computers is one thing. Getting Thai departments to swap data from one system to another is a whole different pipe dream. I think literally you're going to have to drag out of their cold, dead hands the reams of A4 paper that they seem to go through. And accelerating the legal guillotine, good heavens, the cancellation of outdated laws and regulations that create unnecessary burdens for citizens and business. Like having to legally wear underwear when you're outside. And then he had 30 seconds to go, so he had to fill it up. In concluding his address, the Prime Minister affirmed that his government is committed to acting with integrity, honesty and virtue, prioritising the nation's benefit. He pledged to maintain confidence in fiscal policy, ensuring it is credible, disciplined and transparent. So there you go, the first election campaign speech for next year. This government's only got 4 months, starting yesterday, to enact all that they've said. Noble goals, earnest goals, but pretty much most of them impossible to realise within 4 months. But I think they're going to give it a good try because they do realise if they put on a good show for the next 4 months that they're going to have a better chance at becoming the next 4-year government here in Thailand. So I'm not sure what you think of those, whether they missed something or whether you would have added or subtracted some items. Look forward to your comments. Please subscribe to the channel. By the way, I'm wearing Banyan Tide shirt. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to find those. I've got a message actually from CK from Banyan Tide. The promo code is the same for Australia Amazon. They're available on American Amazon. Tim Newton, one word, all bold, for a 10% discount. And people asking, are the shirts available on Lazada and Shopee in Thailand? No, but Amazon does give free shipping. They do ship to Thailand if one orders a certain amount, and a few customers have done so. Thank you, CK. Thank you, Banyan Tide. These are very nice. Please subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you next time.